you have any questions or anything that I need to be looking out for that you're curious about or anything like that when we jump into the game?
I can't really think of anything right now.
Okay.
But yeah.
No worries. Are there any specific champions that you have questions about or champions that you're looking to play in this game in particular?
Lately I've been playing Janna.
Okay.
I've really liked her because I used to main Soraka, but you know what happened to her.
Mm-hmm.
So I've just been playing her, and I haven't played her that much, so I don't really know. Like, I know I've been taking Guardian on her, but op.gg says don't take Guardian, or it
Mm-hmm.
doesn't even recommend it.
Have you
But I've
played any Nami at all?
Yeah, I have in the past, but lately I just haven't been feeling her.
Okay. So you can just play whatever you want then. We'll just jump right in. I'll try and break down like rune setups and stuff like that. And then hopefully this game is not an FF15. Yep, exactly.
I hope not either, because that would be not a good experience.
So you're just mostly playing Janna right now then? No matter what your matchups are or anything like that? That's just
I
like the
do
most
play
comfortable?
Yumi sometimes.
Okay.
I don't know.
I don't
I don't
recommend a
usually.
Yumi game here. I think it's just not as great. Okay, cool. So we'll just wait for your matchups to show up, and then we can jump into runes off of that.
Okay.
But there's kind of like a couple of different ways that normally I'm usually looking at it. I haven't really been running any Guardian. The reason why I haven't really been too crazy about the rune page in general is that if you're taking Guardian, right, you're usually not pressuring anyway. But if you're not pressuring, then in most cases, the sorcery tree just gives you way better numbers in the mid game than the resolve tree, right? Because you're investing in like revitalize, bone plating, like font of life or something like that. So in general, I found that if I'm playing with that mentality, right, like I want to play this conservatively, just defensively, I'm not going to pressure too much, then usually I'm going to opt into a relic shield, right? You're going to play a lot safer, more conservative, less pressure. Then in most cases, I've just liked just taking Airy because it gives you reasonable shield levels. But yeah, the tree just like works itself out way better as the game goes on, just in general.
Okay. Okay, I can take Airy. That's fine. I take it sometimes, but I've just been taking more passive runes, I guess, but because
These
I've
are
been scared of.
actually unironically like better passive runes than the Guardian. If you're just gonna play conservatively anyway, right? Then I think this is a much better way to approach it in most cases. Because right, if you just look at the trees, Airy is gonna be Airy gets better scaling, right? Because it builds off of your AP rather than Guardian, which kind of goes off of your HP. And then on top of that, I love Mana Flow Ban. I'm not gonna lie, I'm like a huge fan of the rune just in general. It solves like pretty much all your mana problems. And then after that, Transcendence and Gathering the Storm is just really, really potent once you basically hit 20 minutes into the game. And if your approach is to take Guardian, that's kind of like where you're trying to hit anyway in terms of time slots. So that's why I preferred it in general.
Okay. Okay, I understand
Yeah, because like
what you're
even
saying.
yeah, like even when I play like Nami and stuff like that, a lot of people when I play into like Leona matchups and stuff like that, I've just found that okay, whatever. I just don't focus too much on like trying to cycle the mana flow early, and then boom, you hit 20 minutes. Your Gathering Storm's giving you a ton of AP. You have Transcendence, which is another 10% CDR you don't have to invest in, especially since the Spell Thieves and the Sightstone items in general don't have the 10% CDR. So I've just found that I personally prefer this a lot better because it just complements like what kind of time slot you're trying to play for.
Okay. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah. So I understand in like super fringe scenarios where you're really really worried about getting killed, like Guardian can make up that difference. But I found that if you're playing something like Janna or Nami, you can usually play conservatively enough and deflect enough of the pressure on you that you shouldn't really need it. And worst case scenario, if you're looking to like solve bridge that problem anyway for like Janna, what you can do is, if you're like concerned about being all in and stuff, you can still take Resolve secondary and just go Bone Plating and Revitalize right there. And that's exactly why I also don't like the Resolve tree that much, because the top tree, right, like Demolish, Font of Life, Shield Bash, it's not actually that strong. It's just not statistically like good value for your champion in general.
Okay. Yeah, that part is kind of weird. I don't know what to take.
I usually do Font of Life, but it doesn't feel that great. It's just kind of like something that's residual. However, I do like some interactions. So, like, for example, I like taking Guardian on Morgana because when you bind, it's the Font of Life goes on them, right? So you can do things like get an Ardent Sensor like second after Zonia's. And then all of a sudden, now you've unlocked an entire item for you. So, like, in those kinds of fringe scenarios, it feels a lot better for sure. But yeah, generically, like, the top tree for the most part is very useless for you in most cases. That's why I stay away from Guardian as much as I can on, like, the range supports nowadays.
Okay. Makes sense. Thanks for giving me a description on that, because I wasn't sure.
Yeah, no problem. I mean, we have nothing else that's going on, so you might as well, right?
Yeah. So what do you think I should take second?
So you're against the Lucian, but I think the Taric is going mid with Taric Yi. So, oh, never mind. You're against Taric and Lucian. So I'd go the Inspiration secondary and you get just Biscuits and Cosmic Insight. Cosmic Insight? Yeah, the 5% CDR. You can just save that. I've been a way bigger fan also of not taking Absolute Focus and going Transcendence more often than not. Just because it's really hard to keep your HP above 70, especially if you don't have sustain. So I much prefer the Transcendence, because worst case scenario, right, you overcap on CDR later, and it just gives you a ton of AP. So you'll be good in that regard.
Okay.
One thing to note about summoner decisions is, in most cases, I prefer to take Ignite. This game is fine to take Exhaust for a couple of reasons. One, it's good for the Yi. Two, it's okay for the Talon, but it's a lot harder to get obviously the CC on the Talon. But also, for my AD carry matchups, right? So Lucian, for example, Lucian dashes in, so he's always giving you the easy range to exhaust. So when you do play against like Lucians, exhaust actually is pretty dang good, because he dashes in, then he can't front load any damage, and you can like punish him in that regard.
Okay, I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
I usually max W, but do you max E or W on Janna?
Usually it's kind of like the philosophy of lane versus out of lane. So I'll usually do 2 to 3 points in W, depending on like how my lane's going and whether or not I feel like I can keep pressuring. Then I max the shield. Because investing 5 points in the W isn't really valuable unless you're absolutely crushing or running over people in most cases. So it's kind of like a principle just in general. So like whenever I play like Thresh, people ask me like, why do you put 3 points in the Flay before maxing Hook? Like, this is the same principle that you basically have, where you invest early for the 1 through 6 for like your laning phase, and then you go to your utility later. And it's totally completely fine, because you'll finish it out at 10, which is a completely reasonable level. And then sometimes if I feel like I can't pressure, then I just put 2 points in it, right? Because then you can max the shield at level 9 anyway.
Okay.
So I'd probably go Spell Thief in this lane. You should be able to play reasonably aggressive in this laning phase. So the most important thing is just making sure that you're actively moving, because you don't want to get hit by the Taric stun.
Okay. Do you think I should go over here or here?
I always spot at the ramp that you circled second.
Oh, so right here?
Yeah, up there is usually where you spot, and then the AD carry tries to spot in the bottom tri-bush.
Okay. Oh, no.
Yeah,
I'm dead.
Usually when you come off base, you want to walk to that spot. If you don't get to that spot immediately, then that kind of stuff can happen really, really fast. So it's a bit unfortunate.
Yeah.
Also, you should just invest in leveling up the W, because that gives you bonus movement speed while you're moving around too.
Okay.
So that'll help you navigate a little bit better. So for this laning phase, what you're going to want to do in the early stages is just try to get harass on the Lucian. So where you position in this lane is in front of the Lucian, so that you can hit him when he goes for minions.
Okay.
So that's like the kind of like the starting point for what you want to do for the laning phase. And then just always be conscious of whether or not the Taric is running at you to stun you. Because that's like the two most important things for this kind of laning phase at the start.
Okay.
So whenever you're doing nothing, the best thing you can do is auto attack the minions so that you can thin it out. So make sure that you're not doing nothing the entire time. Like you're doing right now, that's good. You want to be just hitting the minions, getting damage into the wave. Think of the collective wave as a full HP bar. So anytime you're dealing an auto attack, you're dealing damage to the wave.
Okay.
And then also, whenever you do trading on Janna, you want to auto, then W, then auto again. Because that's going to give you
Okay.
the most amount of damage by a long shot.
Should I take E?
I would take
or...
Tornado here. That way, if the Taric walks up, you can Tornado him and pressure. So now you're in a position where you have health, right? So you want to be playing in the brush. See the brush right next to you? And you can zone him away from the minion wave now. And make sure that you're not auto-attacking anymore because the wave is on your side. So the Lucian just lost all his health, right? He has to go back. So you want the wave on your side because you see how it's a bigger wave than the enemy's wave?
Yeah.
So it's constantly, this is denying minions, basically. You're constantly losing minions. Your minions are dying, right? Very fast. But he can't do anything about it. So he's not getting any of the experience and gold.
Okay.
So you see how the wave is now basically crash. It's next to each other. You should take the second brush now.
Okay.
So take the second brush. Good. Now you can stay there. We can put another point in W since you're winning trades. And you'll get your shield at level 4.
Okay.
So now when the Lucian walks up, or anyone walks up, you can just walk up and then use your auto, then W them, and then step back.
Okay.
Now, one thing is you don't want to use words like that because you see how your wave is much bigger. It's going to push to them. So the Taric's not going to be able to use that brush at all. So because of stuff like that, you don't want to be wasteful with your wards.
Okay.
In situations like that where the Taric takes the brush, what you need to do is where you're standing right now, just do that. Because if you're not next to the brush, he can't use the brush for pressure in that regard.
Okay.
Now, you should take that brush and then look for trades whenever you can. Try to make sure that you're always autoing, then Wing, then autoing again. That'll give you a lot more damage.
Okay.
So just keep kiting backwards and hitting the Taric because the Taric is really low. Good job. You have a shield and you have plenty of health, so you can play up. You can literally just walk up and auto and W him and just zone him away from the wave. Just make sure you don't run into the turret.
I'm probably I was gonna say I'm probably not gonna flash here, but
Sorry, I got a little distracted. Yeah, that's totally fine. One thing that you eventually need to develop a good habit for, though, is you need to be using your potions while you're trading. That way your HP is always up. So you should buy a Dark Seal right here also.
Okay.
So Dark Seal is a really good item to buy just generically, and the reasons for this is kind of a bunch of things. So one, it's very inexpensive. It gives you a lot of extra mana in the laning phase and AP. Plus, if you do happen to stack it, it's super valuable in terms of stats. But it's also a really great item to actually just continuously trade with, because if you didn't notice, the passive on it increases the amount of healing you receive from potions. And that also works on biscuits. So in lanes where you're trading quite frequently, Dark Seal is actually an effective health pool increase because of the fact that it makes your healing received from potions so much higher.
Okay. Yeah, I don't usually use biscuits, so I'm kind of uncomfortable with them.
The best time is either where you're trading really, really hard or missing at least to 50% of your health. If you're using it before that, it's just kind of incredibly wasteful in that regard.
Okay. Yeah, I usually don't take it, but so if I don't use them, I'm sorry about that.
That's fine.
Should I
Practice
put a
makes
point
perfect.
in
So you're trading a
W?
lot in this lane, so I would put the third point in W and be done with it. And then you should
Okay.
get a ward in the river that you are pivoting towards. Since you're pushing all the way into the turret, you want to make sure that you're getting vision out. Now, one thing to note for future reference, whenever you're doing wards like that, if you have the full push, you can clear the pink now. When you have the full push, you don't want to get a ward right there unless the enemy jungler can jump over walls. You want to get it further out. So like around where the dragon pit was would be a much better ward for you. The sooner you get information available to you, the better it is for you to make better decisions. So having a ward right there, right, you don't have as much reaction time. Also, you're playing too far back and you should be hitting the AD carry as much as you can. I would just ditch him. Don't help him. He is dead.
All right.
So that's kind of like a scenario where having the ward much further out would actually have given you a lot more time to react and potentially pull back the aggression rather than playing aggressive on those kinds of scenarios.
Okay. Yeah, I understand what you mean.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's always kind of like reactive to put the ward right there, but if you ever have a pushing wave like that, you can always leverage that to get vision down.
Okay.
So your W is coming back up. You should walk up and look for a trade right here with your shield as your AD carry is walking into the lane. Because he has no mana anymore. Also a reminder, try to auto attack, then use the W, then auto attack. It'll give you a huge chunk of damage extra on it. Now, you need to make sure that they don't reset right here. So see how they're trying to reset? Just use like a tornado from max range. You don't have to screw with them too much. Basically, something that's really, really important as a support is you need to keep forcing them to reset in uncomfortable situations. So anytime someone pushes in a wave, don't get caught by the wave if you can safely do it. You should chase the AD carry to try and keep him in the lane the entire time. And the reason for that is every time you stop a back, right, that's 10, 15 seconds extra that he's not in the lane. And every 30 seconds, a wave spawns, just to like kind of put numbers to it. So every time you do that, he misses like 3 to 4 CS, which is pretty huge if you do it 3 or 4 times too. Plus, you'll make him tilt, which is also really important.
Okay. Oh, that's sad.
Okay, well, you just killed the mid laner, but you do need to make sure that you go back to bottom and catch after you clear this wave that's in front of you. Make sure that you stay for the wave, though, so that you can get as much experience as possible. There is also a fight happening above you that you need to kind of watch. Okay. They ended up winning it, so it's fine. You don't need to walk to it anymore. So you and Jin can now just go back to bottom and cover that wave. Money. Making mountains and mountains of money. Most important things in those kinds of situations is as follows, right? You're just sitting there to soak EXP, so try to make sure that you're putting your camera over people who are fighting so that you can get information and know what's going on in that fight. Nice, good. You can keep chasing. You've won. He missed his stun, so you can keep going up. Hit him with a W. Nice. Keep hitting him. You can keep chasing him for a little bit, but be mindful of the jungler. If he ever turns back around, you should use your ult here. So when you're chasing someone, try to keep a mental clock that he wants to turn around and stun you. So whenever you're auto attacking him, you kind of want to step back each time if he starts walking at you. That way you can avoid the stun in that regard.
Okay.
Basically, a lot of League is anticipating what another person wants to do to you, not the other way around. So if you want to create pressure against something like Tarek, right, it's kind of the same thing as treating his stun like a hook. Once, about 10, 15 seconds has elapsed, then you kind of want to be like, okay, as I continue chasing this guy, his stun is going to come back up, so I need to make sure that I'm already mentally ready to dodge that. Since your AD carry is resetting right here too, what you should do is go up and get a ward back on that dragon area. That way you have some outer vision to see what's going on over there. There you go. And then you can kind of just sit there and last hit very safely.
Okay. I've never been coached before, so I am a little nervous. I'm not gonna lie.
That's fine. I wouldn't worry too much about it. Most of it is just about me kind of getting a mental list of things that you can work on and then giving you a set of things that you can take and apply to games as you go forward. Don't worry too much about this game in particular and how it goes and all of that. It's not really that big of a deal.
Okay.
So in situations like this, anytime that the Tarek takes the brush, you want to be away from the brush if you can't get vision down. That way he can't utilize the brush at all, and then you just want to trade onto the AD carry.
Okay.
Basically, if anyone who can hit a skill shot on you and kill you gets into a brush, don't try to fight that brush if you can't put vision on it. Just stand as far away from it as possible, but while also being in the lane to pressure. That's kind of like the goal and objective of that kind of scenario. So anytime that... Perfect. There you go. Nice. Good job. Yeah, anytime that the stuns are down, you definitely want to be just auto W, autoing, getting tons of extra damage in. Kind of like for understanding, your W does what, like 180 damage? Each of your autos are going to do an extra 50, which means just 2 autos is an insane amount of damage. Nice. Good. Now you have your exhaust. Should be able to... Oh, not quite able to shield him.
I probably played that so badly.
One of the things that's important for you to do is you're too far behind your AD carry, so you spend a lot of your time walking up rather than just hitting back. So that's like kind of the problem that you're having right now. So what I mean by that is you're kind of like a full screen away. So when the Lucian dashes in, right, he's not getting autoed by 2 people. He's just getting autoed by 1 person. And you're kind of moving up in order to pressure. So what you need to try and work on is just positioning a little bit closer to your AD carry rather than so far behind him. And I would also go for the Fiendish. I wouldn't go the Chalice. You have plenty of mana regen right now. The extra AP and CDR is going to do you a lot more value.
Okay.
So you've now completed your sight stone. So it's actually pretty important for you to get vision down, but safely. So you see how in the bottom right-hand corner your AD carry is pushing it out and he's probably going to reset? Don't walk to him. You need to walk to mid.
Okay.
So next what you're going to try and do is just get some vision outside of your lane. So let's get a ward over the wall on the rock that you're walking up. No.
One?
Keep walking forward, up to the right. Yep. Keep going and get a ward in over the rock. Perfect. There you go. That's number 1. So no, you need to now go down and around and get a ward on the blue buff. So what you can do is when you're walking through the river, you can ward over the wall on their blue buff. Sorry. I should be more specific.
Their blue buff. Okay.
Yes. That's okay. Don't worry too much about this. So you can actually walk right next to the wall and ward over it, and that's completely fine too.
Oh, so this one?
Yeah, you can ward over the wall like that. There you go.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know why I'm pointing at my screen. I'm stupid. Sorry. So next you need to get back into the lane safely. So you can use that blast cone and pop over the wall, but be mindful you are jumping into an AD carry. So you'll probably need to use your ulti pretty soon.
Yeah. I spent way too long trying to figure out where you were trying to direct me.
So,
okay.
So the wards that you did end up getting, what you want to do is, you know how like at the start of the game you walk to the ramp and you spot right there? You basically want to use that path every time and then just walk over and ward over the wall. That way you can kind of see the path of the jungler. And then after that, because you're already standing basically next to the blue buff, right? You can just ward right over the wall and then you have a ward on the blue buff too.
Okay.
And that will basically cover all of the bottom vision that you basically need unless your mid laner gets pushed in. Then on top of that, what you would do is you'd ward the Pixel Brush, which is the brush you walk past next to mid.
Okay.
And
My
it's
team is pretty upset at me.
I wouldn't worry too much about it right now. I know there's kind of a lot of things going on, and it's a little complicated to play with direction going on at the same time.
I'll just ignore them. I don't really care what they say.
Okay, so after that, you just want to be sitting in mid with your AD carry for the most part. This is kind of where the point where your Caston should basically just be in a side lane, and you're just chilling. But you should probably follow the Jhin if he goes to bottom lane right now. Just make sure that you're kind of following him around and keeping sure that you just have vision outside so you can see if anyone's coming down to gank you or anything like that.
All right.
So they're significantly stronger than you. So your goal at any point in time, if they do try to dash in and pressure, is to just deflect. So if the Lucian dashes in, you just want to tornado W and keep cutting backwards as best you can. Because they're definitely significantly stronger than you right now, so you need to make sure that you're not getting yourself killed for free.
Should I help them?
Over here? Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
Nice, good ultimate. Good exhaust afterwards. And then you should shield the Kassadin again, because he's going to go back in. Nice, good job. So, one thing to note, a good habit to develop is if you're ever going to have to use ultimate, press your Q once before you ulti. That way, when you ulti, your tornado is channeling, and it will protect you in case people try to dive in on you and try to kill you.
Okay.
And that'll also put it on cooldown, so it comes up a lot faster, because basically what you're doing right is your champion is stalling time with the shield and the heal, so you're just trying to buy as much time as you possibly can to make sure that you don't end up dying. So the dragon's coming up, so you should move over to him. Now you have one ward, so you can ward over the wall again, where that is. Nice. And this will just kind of let you know if anyone is coming down, trying to jump in on you guys, etc.
Should I put one right here?
You're out of wards, so that'd be a neat magic trick,
though.
though.
I am.
Yeah. So you need to play tight on your teammates, so just make sure that you're in range and ready to tornado for your teammates. So just keep cutting backwards. Unfortunately, they're all on you. So in situations like that, what you want to do is you just kind of want to follow whoever is strong. So since in this case, your AD carry is not strong, you just want to follow the Kassadin. And yeah, you should sell the biscuits. They're not useful to you anymore. They're mostly laning phase things, and you should buy 2 pinks. That way you can get a lot of vision down right there. It's fine.
Okay.
At the same time, you're God split pushing, so it's not that big of a deal. And pretty much off respawn, so this is how like kind of the mid game ends up working for you. You basically want to push down mid. Think of minions as wards. See how like your minions are pushing down mid right now, and you can see all of that space. That's basically what you want to do. Is you want to help push out mid. And then you want to get a ward where the mid lane turret, the mid lane tier 1 turret on the enemy team dies. That way you can kind of see what's going on and where people are going. Because you don't actually want to be down here right now. This is a waste of your time, for sure.
Okay.
Yeah, you want to be in the middle and then top side. Because Baron is spawning now, right? We're in the 20-minute mark, so you want to make sure that you have vision on that side of the map. Plus, the dragon's gone, so there's no reason for you to have anything. Now, what you're doing is a big no-no. What you should be doing is walk to mid, help push out mid, right? Make the minions be your wards. And then once people show on mid, then you can step up and start getting vision down by yourself. Because if you do that by yourself, you might run into somebody and then you will die. Because you cannot defend yourself in any way, shape, or form. So you're just pushing this out. So as this wave pushes in, remember, get the ward down on the mid tier 1 turret that dies on the enemy team. And make sure to play with your Kassadin. Because you just want mid pushed out the entire time. That way you can always have vision of what's going on.
Okay. What would I build second?
Ardent, for sure. You can get rid of your refillable at this point in time. It's not valuable to you.
Okay.
So to kind of like explain it a little bit more in depth, the mid lane stuff. You push out the waves, but you don't want to walk too far forward until people show. Because someone wants to farm the waves, right? So they will eventually show on the wave. Then it gives you the opportunity to get vision down safely.
Okay.
So see how the Cassin is now pushing in on that wave? So you should follow that wave down middle and get a ward on their dead tier 1 turret. Around there, yeah. Safely. Perfect. And now what that will give you in terms of vision is whether or not, see how like you can see them shifting over to the top side now because they come through mid. That's why that ward is really, really important. It allows you to get a lot of information on where people are walking to.
Okay. Should I help Cassidy?
Yes, you should definitely walk over to him, but be careful because you also can get killed. Now, in a losing situation like this, what you want to do is get a pink ward on the top side brush that you walk through right next to the wolves. So you see that brush you're kind of looking at right now?
This one?
Yeah, that one. So you'll just pink that whenever you can, just to try and have defensive vision.
Too.
Yeah, that's totally fine. And this is why like mid push is really, really important. You see how the enemy team now can push mid and it forces, you and Jin to show on vision, Cassin to show on vision. It allows them to step into a place where you don't have vision in that regard.
Yeah. Yeah, I figured that would happen. To Jin.
Exactly. Try slow whoever's in front of you right now and not worry too much about it. Now you just won that fight, so you know where the pink was. You can get a ward down the lane and then clear out all that vision.
My team might die here.
That's fine. Try your best to walk over to them as close as you possibly can without risking your life because they're most likely going to die. What elo is this? I have no idea. What elo are you? If you don't mind me asking.
3.
Okay. Cold 3 it is.
So not very good, but...
I wouldn't worry too much about that. You're about average. Better than 50% of the players, usually. That's fine.
Yay, I guess.
Pog.
Should I put a ward in mid, or... I don't know.
Well, you can't do anything about that right now. So you should just reset.
Okay.
And right now, vision isn't going to be very valuable to you. What you're going to probably just try and do is get vision wherever you can. And you're going to sell your pink and get a forbidden idol. Just to get the extra CDR for right now. No, not the Aether. Yeah, that one. Forbidden idol. And then you're just going to walk out. And you see where that other pink is right now? You see that brush? Those are kind of the locations that you kind of want when you're in a losing situation to just have pinks down there. Just so that you have some vision around wherever they can walk down. And you should be shielding the turret as much as you possibly can while they're sieging.
One shot.
That's unfortunate. You are dead. That sucks.
I'm feeding really hard this game, actually.
That's okay.
I don't blame my team for being mad.
For the most part, in this kind of situation where you're losing really, really hard, you just want to be trying to shield and just use the ulti for heals for the most part, and worry about enabling your Cassin as best you can. But I think they're about to end through mid right now. They're quite strong. Just try to pair up with the Warwick right here and try to mount a defense as best you can. They might not be able to end, actually, if they lost a lot of HP. Yeah, and just keep cycling the shield on him as much as you can. Because actually the minions at this point in time will do a lot of damage to him. And you could actually go back and get your Aether Wisp now, because it's 415 gold. So now what you want to do is just help push out mid as best you can by auto-attacking. Because you want the wave.
Here?
That word really doesn't do anything. So what you want to do is just push out mid really, really hard. Then you can start looking for vision because you'll be next to people who are clearing the wards. Or clearing the waves, sorry. At this point in time, you just kind of want to throw wards at any of the brushes that aren't warded or over walls right now. So you could like walk up here and ward over the wall to the wolf camp. That's completely fine. You can actually ward your tier 2 right here too. Your tier 2 turret that died. Because that will also give you like lots of vision on whether or not people are going to continue to siege.
Okay.
So you see the turret coming from the side. Try and slow him down a little bit, but make sure you're in range of shield. And you still have exhaust, so you can play that pretty fast. Nice, okay. Good job. And then your Warwick is losing to the Taric, so go help him out. Nice. All right, cool. Now you have a lot of breathing room, and you should just focus on trying to catch any EXP that you could possibly get.
Okay. They are pushing bot, but...
The tier 2 is going to die no matter what, so just play with the Warwick, see how he's walking over. Just play with the Warwick as best you can so you can look for a fight if they keep pushing. If not, then you can just ward over walls and just call it a day and make sure that you go back to the base and get more vision. Because you're out of wards again. Try to keep your eyes on Warwick at the same time while you're walking back, though, because he might do something stupid and you might have to turn around. Whenever you have scenarios where you're not doing basically anything, where like you're walking to the base or whatever, just try to always watch your teammates or watch the map rather than watch your characters, so that you can just get as much available info as you can. So you want to dump exhaust on him, nice. And then just shield whoever you can right now, and just make sure that you don't walk into range to get killed by the mid laner right now. Because your champion is more valuable if you're alive.
Okay.
So you're missing a ton of HP and they've backed off, so you can just go finish your Ardent now and get your HP back up. There's no tier 2 turrets to defend or anything like that, so you're in good shape.
Should I wait for a control ward?
Yeah, that's fine. You're waiting for HP for the most part anyway, so it's completely fine. So your god, as I see on the minimap, is kind of doing stuff mid, so just try to walk over to him, see what's going on there. Worst case scenario, you're just dumping wards wherever you can. But don't walk up to that pink ward right now because they're pushing in the wave, so you wouldn't be very safe and they'd have an easy collapse on you. So your Kassadin's up there. Just try to shield whoever you can. And for the most part, you're just trying to play defense. So anytime your teammate is walking out, you want to make sure that you're walking with them so that you can feed them shields in case they get jumped on, and that's about it. For pink wards, where you're standing right now is actually not a bad place to put a pink, right next to the wall. Yeah, so that if they ward over the wall, then you can see at all those wards and basically deflect them. Also, put a shield on the turrets when you can in situations like that.
I always forget about that.
That's fine. So you're just playing front to back. You're actually doing really well in this fight. Just keep slowing everyone. Cool, cool. Put a tornado on that. Give your Urgot a shield. Slow him down. Nice. You're popping off.
I guess it's more so my Jin. Should I walk over to Warwick or just let him?
Yes, you should 100% walk over to Warwick. You're not needed for that wave anymore, and they've already killed 4 people, so you should just be following him.
I don't know if I can get to him.
That's fine. Yeah. So Baron is up right now. You should run all the way to the Baron right now and ping assist me and on my ways.
Okay.
Because you will lose this game if you don't get the Baron right now. So just start spam pinging it. Put a ward down mid. Put a ward down mid. Yeah, over the wall. Perfect. Go to it. All right, so your teammates hate winning the game. They're allergic to it, so get a ward on the Baron at least.
Okay, should I get a ward here too?
No, your wards are fine right now. See how you have like kind of like a good triangle cover
I think
of the
they
wards?
want Elder more.
Yeah, that's fine. So just make sure you're walking over it, but be careful of the walls and brushes you're walking next to at the same time. We see the talons, so you're in most case fine. So now maybe your team will stop being allergic and maybe you can do Baron afterwards. But make sure you take your reset since everyone else is resetting. So they're probably just going to get Baron. But you do have the Elder and you have a lot of experience, so you'll probably be okay in this regard.
Should I get Redemption?
You should get another Forbidden Idol and then start running. I prefer to get Shurelias in most cases. I find the item much better than Redemption in most cases, so that's my personal preference. So start just running over to that. Try and make sure you give a shield to whoever. Jhin should turn on his ult. No, never mind. Okay. So you don't need to follow the Jhin. You need to be in the Baron area. So you should be following the Warwick right now. That ward is useless. The only objective on the map right now is the Baron. So you should just be focused on doing that. That's fine. Just hit whoever you can, front to back, and just make sure that they can't jump on you. Try your best to keep track of where the Talon is. The Talon is the most important guy because he'll pop over the wall and kill your ass instantly. So if you don't ever know where the Talon is, don't walk up. That's basically the best piece of advice I can give you right here and how these team fights are going to go.
Silas stole my ult.
That's fine. Put a tornado through there. I mean, you're still crushing them in team fights. Watch out for the walls. Remember, the Talon was above you.
Oh, yeah.
So your team will probably push down mid right now with no minions. So there's not really too much for you to do right now. As long as you can see where Talon is, you're okay. But anytime that you don't know where Talon is, make sure that you're not walking up too aggressive to like get jumped on and Talon ulted. Because you'll die instantly no matter what you do, basically, in those circumstances.
Okay.
So your teammates are spam pinging Baron now, so you should start shifting over to that. Just make sure you stay tight with your teammates the entire time. It looks like they're probably just going to start it immediately. Just give the shield to whoever's tanking. So like Cassin's tanking right now, so just give him the shield. And then yeah, don't use your tornado for damage, but the W is fine. The W you should use for damage for sure.
Okay.
So good, that's really good positioning. Make sure to see how you're fighting down here now. Just make sure that that's perfect. Keep doing what you're doing where you're making sure that there's space between you and the Talon the entire time.
There's a Talon in our jungle. I'm a little scared.
Mm-hmm. So go into the pit. That will be the highest probability that you survive. So you're fighting down there now. Talon has no ult now, so you don't need to worry about Talon. Just shield whoever you can in front of you and just keep trying to kite backwards as best you can. And then keep doing what you're doing. You're doing great. You just keep shielding from max range, making sure that they can't kill you. You're winning the fight, like, significantly.
Okay. Okay. Do you think we could just end the game?
Maybe. One of your teammates will probably channel back in a panic and try to stop that guy. But, yeah, you should just keep pushing with your teammates and keep going. Urgot's the one you want to shield because he just auto-attacks more. So just keep feeding him the shields while you push. You've got plenty of time, by the way. You can end the game. 100%, you can end the game. So just keep feeding him shields and auto-attacking the turrets, and you're in pretty good shape. You're still fine. Make sure you're auto-attacking the base. Yeah, don't do what they're doing, just auto-attack the base. Good job, and you won.
I thought I would lose that game for sure because I was like feeding so hard.
Okay, so let's talk about like a couple of things that you want to work on for like early stages, and we'll kind of wrap it up. So number one is you definitely need to get a little bit more comfortable with auto-Wing, autoing. You started getting more comfortable with it as you got on through the laning phase, so that was already a positive. If you don't have control over brush, right? So like Taric takes a brush and your wave is pushing into them, you don't need to ward that brush. So make sure that you're just taking an active role to stay away from the brush, but pressure the AD carry. Because one of the biggest problems like in laning phase that you were having for sure is there's a way to play defensively without playing passively. And that's basically the line that you kind of have to start getting used to, because you're too far away from your AD carry that when they get jumped on, right, both of the enemy players are hitting them, but you're not hitting the enemy player at the same time, right? There's 2 to 3 seconds where you have to walk up, start doing stuff, right? And that's like really important time management and time windows. So when you are playing defensively, make sure that you're kind of just like shoulder to shoulder is a good way of indicating whether or not you're like in a good position. So you need to be shoulder to shoulder basically with your AD carry. That way, if they jump on your AD carry, you can return pressure immediately in that regard.
Okay.
Also, another thing too, though, is you hold on to your exhaust way too long. So like pretty much, exhaust's value goes up significantly the more spells get wasted into it. So for the example of the Lucian, right? The second Lucian dashes, he should just get exhausted. And one thing to note is exhaust is not like ignite. It's totally fine to use exhaust and not kill someone. It's not a big deal. If it wins you a big trade and gets you HP advantage and pressure in the lane, that's totally a win in that regard. So don't apply it to the same mentality of like you use it at someone, half health or all inning, right? Use it a lot earlier. That way you can get more value out of it for stopping the incoming damage for your teammate. And then, one thing to note too is you do need to start getting more used to using your potions while you're trading, and then warding. So I actually have 2 warding guides that I'm going to link you over Discord that will help explain a little bit better, because I was stupidly pointing at my screen like an idiot. Where like warding in the early stages is. Yeah, it's hard for me to. I don't really even know how to explain it.
I was like so confused, and my team was like, "You're trolling, Janna."
Exactly. No, it was totally my fault for like not having that prepared. But I do have 2 warding guides that I'm gonna toss to you that will kind of tell you the places that you want to have wards down. So that will like help you kind of have better clarity on where you want vision. So this is the early one. And then this is the late game one. So those will be great tools for you. It has both sides of the map too, so you don't have to worry about red versus blue or anything like that. It'll cover both of them. Do you have any questions for me or anything else that you want to say or anything like that in regards to the lesson?
No. Are you gonna upload this like later so I can watch it? Or
yeah, and it's also on the VODs right now, so like if you wanted to access it right now and it's not on YouTube, you could literally just go twitch.tv/lowpally, you just hit video and you hit past broadcast. There's no music, so there's not going to be any mute or anything like that, and you can watch it back as many times as you want without the YouTube thing too.
Okay, awesome. Well, thank you for your time.
Okay, cool. If you have any other questions for me, even if it's not on stream or anything like that through Discord, feel free to ask me. I'm always available if you have any questions, concerns, or even questions about other champions or anything that wasn't even pertaining to the lesson. So feel free to reach out.
Okay, awesome. Thank you so much, Derek.
Thank you for your time. I really appreciate it.